Kia ora, Justin here from 275 Times. We're here with Aupito William Sio, the Māngere electorate MP and Minister for Pacific Peoples. It's good to talk to you, Aupito, at this interesting time for our country. For our community right now, they're obviously feeling some concern and anxiety around what's happening. What would be some advice or key message that you would have for our community at this time?
I would just say for people, just don't panic. Don't be afraid. These are unprecedented times and we do need to take the message seriously. But I would just first and foremost, just be calm and don't panic. All the essential services in terms of food, doctors, pharmaceuticals, all of those services will remain open right throughout this crisis, whether it be level 1 to level 4. You'll still be able to access essentials.
Cool. Now the government's announced a range of supports and a package to support community.
Yeah.
What would be some specific things that people in our community could access and that are there for particularly our Māngere and Pacific community?
Yeah, so the economic package is really about supporting our hospitals, our clinicians, because that's where the need is going to be the greatest. Secondly, it's about trying to maintain business as usual and making sure that businesses have time to support the workforce as much as possible. So there's a range of subsidies that businesses can apply for in order to continue paying their staff for as long as they can. And the third aspect of that economic package was supporting the most vulnerable, and that is for beneficiaries. This extra money for people who are receiving the superannuation support. Those doubling up on the winter energy payment. And for families with children, there's also some relief that's provided in the families package. And all of that is available. All the information for the detail of that is available on the covid19.govt.nz website. Or if they've been engaging with working income, get a hold of the phone number or the website for working income.
What's your advice for our community who want to be continuing to go to church and keep up some of their kind of cultural practices?
Yeah, so when we go tomorrow at midnight, on Wednesday midnight, we will go into lockdown. And the alert level 4 lockdown simply means stay at home. The safest way for us to stop the spread and to prevent spreading COVID-19 is that we stay at home and as a country self-isolate. And so that means that for our cultural events, our church events, there are 2 examples that I would recommend to follow. One is the example of the Mormons, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where internationally they've cancelled all church services and now families are holding their own church services within the confines of their home. And many of our churches are following that. The other one is, of course, the Pope, who internationally is no longer holding services out in the public, but are holding services online. And some of our churches have adopted that, and I strongly recommend that as best practice. It's about keeping away from big gatherings, and we are now saying all church services, all social gatherings, all public events should be cancelled, and that will come in effect as of midnight on Wednesday.
Cool. Now, do you have a final message for our community, particularly those who are feeling nervous and anxious about this the next 4 weeks?
Look, I would just say, don't be afraid and don't panic. That all the essentials of life in terms of food and all of that will be available right throughout. But when we go into lockdown 4, we're going to have to start rationing out. But the services in terms of food, medical, rubbish collection, all the essentials will still open. And so I just don't want our people to panic, but I do want our people to take on board how serious this is. I have used the scenario that we are in a war type situation, and therefore there are going to be casualties and people will lose lives. But what we are trying to do as a government is trying to prevent that from happening. And we can prevent that and see this through if everybody plays their part. And so self-isolation is the call now for lockdown alert level 4. That means just staying at home. And I would urge all of our families to learn and educate the messages that are available on COVID-19 and share that with your families. Second thing is just be very, very careful about information that's available on social media and some of the propaganda that's on social media. So go back to covid19.govt.nz with the official information and keep an eye out for regular updates from the Prime Minister and from the Minister of Health. That's the official line. My role and the role of other ministers is just to reinforce the government's messages about how to keep everybody safe. We will be in self-isolation as a country in 4 weeks' time, but obviously our best experts, plus information that's coming from World Health Organization, we will use that to assess it on a day-by-day basis, and we'll reassess where we need to go to in 4 weeks' time. Remember that our frontline people are our frontline fighters, and those are the people trying to provide us with all the essential services, and they are going to be stretched. And so just be kind, be a little patient. Mistakes will be made, but I just ask people to make the best decision based on what's available on covid19.govt.nz for the sake of protecting their families. And when you protect your families, we're protecting everybody else.
Awesome. Well, thanks for that. And just remember to stay calm, informed, and connected. Until next time.